This episode will be dedicated to the album review for Haute Freddy's debut album, Big Disgrace. And if you want to hear more, please stick around. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program. And welcome to a brand new episode. In recent memory, it seems as though synth pop has taken a bit of an uptick in terms of popularity in its varying forms, from bands like Jelly Haha, Magdalena Bay, Hemlock Springs, Glass Spells, Nuevo Testamento, and now we have Haute Freddy releasing their debut album, Big Disgrace, that I am very excited to hear. I've only heard two tracks in both Dance the Pain Away and also Scantily Clad. So largely this is a whole new experience for me, and I'm very excited to hear what this band has to offer in terms of a full-length album. And I do want to share some info about the band itself and also just the Big Disgrace album as well. So let's go ahead and get to the next segment. One of the interesting things that I learned about Haute Freddy as far as their personal career goes and also just about Big Disgrace itself is that I read this Rolling Stone article that was made about both of them, Michelle Buzz and Lance Shipp, talking about their experiences in the music industry, having written songs for Britney Spears and a bunch of other artists. But Michelle Buzz talks about how she had gone into a bout or spell of depression for 2 years because she had been making music, or rather songwriting, for other artists for 8 years and felt like, her passion, her love for music was slipping away doing stuff for other people. And then along comes Lance Shipp, where they meet at an antique shop where Michelle Buzz was purchasing, I don't know what kind of trinkets or items, but it caught the attention of Lance Shipp, and they eventually formed this friendship and found out they made music respectively. And it turned into an opportunity for them to make their own music, to make it fun again, to make music personal to them, and, to take it as far as possible, without any expectations, just doing things for the love of music, right? So I very much respect that, and I get the idea that Big Disgrace is about talking about that period in their life coming out of, and I think it's said in the article as well that Michelle Buzz says something along the lines of she felt like she was rising on an escalator when she was in a valley or a low point in her life, something along those lines. And, I imagine Big Disgrace is her talking about her moments of just, working in the music industry, hoping that she would become an artist herself, but in fact, writing music for other people for 8 years and just, generally being disassociated or disenfranchised with how things have turned out. And maybe this is the big come up for them, which is, how I imagine this plays out. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the album credits and see if we can find all the people that we need a credit for this album. Before we get underway and start listening to the music, let's go ahead and get to the album credits. I'm looking at this track list and I'm looking at each song, and there's different people credited on each song. So I think I might change my mind on giving the album credits on here because it's just going to take far too much time. So let's go ahead and get to the music. And the first song we're going to listen to is called Symphony For A Queen. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. And if you don't have any digital streaming platforms, I'll try to include the playlist on YouTube for the album. In addition, we will leave the links for the album itself in the description of this episode and also the video version of this episode on YouTube. So you can click on the links and, refer to those so you can check out the album. But we're going to give Symphony For A Queen a spin from Haute Freddy going in. Welcome back. That was Symphony For A Queen from Haute Freddy. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm smiling through the mic because we just heard one of the most resplendent songs of 2026. Yes, I am adjusting my monocle thusly. This was fucking off the hook, man. There's so much shit to pick apart. I don't even know where the fuck to start, but I'll pick somewhere to go. From the get-go, we're greeted with this jukebox jingle being played in addition to the robust vocals of Hot or Michelle Buzz herself. And man, I felt like I was being welcomed into this operatic, musical, whimsical world. And I say whimsical because it feels like that is portrayed through the pizzicato playstyle of the string section. I don't know if it's violins or the harp or whatever, but fucking A, man, it rips, man. It fucking rips. And I love the transition from this jukebox jingle with Hot's vocals feeling very intimate, and then we get more explosive with like the synths and everything later on in the song, and then we return back to form with like the more intimate moment again. And fucking A, man, this shit is just off the hook good. And as far as the meta of the lyrics, or what I can interpret, is that in the first verse she says, when let's see, it wasn't long ago. I fooled the guards, but someone tipped them off. But all my cards aside, the bells still rang. No charms, no claims, no good for goodness sake. My theory is that the guards that she's talking about is the gatekeepers of the music industry. Perhaps she was told that she wasn't capable of being a solo artist, so they, I don't know, stereotyped her or typecasted her for being a songwriter or some shit, and that's all she's been doing for 8 years. Because referring back to the Rolling Stone article, that's what she was doing for a majority of her music career, was just doing stuff for other people. And then we get to the chorus where it says, I don't want to live a lie, I need the spotlight, like a bird inside a cage, exotic but covered up with lace. If what they say is true, there is no place for me and you. Possibly referring to both Lance Shipp or Freddie and Hot or Michelle Buzz herself. There's no place for me and you, but when I walk my walk, when I put my makeup on, look at me, don't you see your queen? And that could be Michelle pointing out herself, like, hey, fucking A, man, I make music too, goddammit. When, Lord? When is it going to be my time? I don't know if anybody's ever seen Jay and Silent Bob, but that scene where Ben Affleck is talking to Silent Bob and tell him that he should ditch Jay because he's such a little dickhead. Anyways, that's besides the point, but you got to see that scene. It's fucking hilarious. But anyways, and then later on in the lyrics, in verse 2, when she starts talking about when mother left and the halls did cry and that the world kept moving on, I feel as though that is probably describing how a star is made. Any musical artist that has any amount of success eventually will fade away, right? And I guess my impression is that Hot or Michelle Buzz herself is getting at the idea that, I'm next in line. What the fuck happened, man? Like, I thought I was gonna be the next star or whatever. And there's a part in one of the lyrics where she's talking about like a glass. Oh, here we go. It's in the bridge. So here it is. I'm going to read it verbatim. There's an empty seat. That's where you'll find me. There's a broken heel. That's where you'll find me. If the sun doesn't shine on you, break your glass and cause a scene. So that to me is Hot describing her glass ceiling and saying, fuck this, man. I'm going to have an uproar about this and make as much noise as possible to draw attention to myself. And I'll tell the world, just wait, you'll see, there's no more time to cry when the crowd's right there. And she's right, man. Like, who is anybody else to tell you what you're capable of, what your ceiling is? Like, fuck, man, this is so goddamn beautiful. Like, between Hot and Freddy themselves to spell that in this song in this grand fashion, fucking A, man. Like, we haven't even got to the other tracks, and I'm in love, goddammit. I'm in love. So I don't know if I have anything additional to add, so let's go ahead and get to the next track. Just know that I love this track, and maybe I'll add some more thoughts about this song in the final thoughts and score segment at the end of this episode. But let's go ahead and get to the next track. We're going to be checking out Anti-Superstar, which is the next track on the album, so pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and if you need to refer to the song links or the album links in the description, you can do that, or you can listen to the album in its entirety at the end of this episode with the YouTube playlist for the album itself. So whatever way you want to listen, we'll have it available to you, but we're going to go ahead and give Anti-Superstar a spin from Hot and Freddy Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Hot and Freddy with their track called Anti Superstar. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. You know what's amazing about this track is how short it is, but it's quite potent with the lyricism and just how hard it hits with the instrumentals, with that rolling bass beat that reminds me of Running Up the Hill from Kate Bush. But on top of that, like the somewhat comedic vocals, the inflections that she has in her voice, where it kind of comes across as somewhat like comedic. I wonder if that is to play into like the visuals of Hot and Freddy themselves, because you have Hot or Michelle Buzz wearing attire that looks like it could be for a queen or possibly even a clown, and maybe she feels herself as though maybe she hasn't been taken seriously like a jester, even though she really has a lot of talent, not only herself, but also Lance Ship. And maybe she portrays this idea by making these inflections in her voice. But yeah, I think this is a banger fucking track. Like, I genuinely fucking loved it. And I love the idea that within this track, she's talking about how she doesn't care about being a mega star or anything like that. She doesn't want to appeal to everybody. And she's not going to be everybody's flavor, as she says within the verse. I think it's verse 1, where she says, "I can't be for everyone. If I'm made for you, I can't be every color and your favorite hue. Keep me under covers, keep me on the shelf, all of the grandeur, fortune, power, who gives a damn?" And she's right. Like, you know, we're only here for a finite amount of time, and we could only really reach people. We can only reach a certain amount of people. And there's this thing called Dunbar's number, which is like you'll have 150 people that will be relevant to your life. There's like your close friends and family and stuff, and there's like rings or rungs or levels to every social circle that will be in your life. But right, like there are only going to be so many people that are going to be interested in your music, and why care about appealing to everybody when we're going to die anyway? So, you know, just for the brief moment, like she just wants to reach the people that are hers, right? Or that her music resonates with. And that goes for Lance as well. And I think he's done a superb job of mixing the instrumentals and the vocals of Hot and Freddy. Like, this is just superb stuff. But let me see if I can find some other things that I liked within the chorus. So let me see. So I'm going to read the chorus as is. So it says, "I'll be your anti-superstar, your guilty pleasure in the back of the bar. Anti-superstar, my name can live and die inside of your heart. I'll be your anti-superstar, your cult classic kiss in the dark. And anti-superstar, my name can live and die inside of your heart." And, you know, I think a lot of artists have this idea that their music will live on forever. But here we see Hot or Michelle Buzz take the opposite take and saying that, you know, none of us are going to live forever. The nature of existence is finite. So I just want to matter to a few different people. You know, I don't need to be on the radio and all this shit. Like, I could be played in the back of the bar and be placed on your shelf. And, you know, that's enough for me. And I fucking love that, man. That's a great message to have. And, you know, I think a lot of artists will feel, you know, that's going to resonate with a lot of artists. And this is just a great fucking track, man, from start to finish. It's very succinct in the message that it tries to get across, from the verses to the chorus itself. I'm already thinking this is going to be a 10. I really do believe it, but we'll see how the rest of the album plays out. So let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called Sweet Surrender. You know the deal. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, or if you want to refer to the YouTube playlist, we'll include it at the end of the episode. And we also have the links available for different digital streaming platforms. But whatever way you want to listen, we have you covered. Once again, we're going to check out Sweet Surrender from Hot and Freddy. Going in. All right, welcome back. That was Sweet Surrender. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. You know what's interesting about this track is that there was something similar to this on Hemlock Springs' album with the song called Be the Girl, if I'm not mistaken. It's the last track on the album, but in the situation of Hemlock Springs, she let the former version of herself die because she can no longer go back to that person that was somewhat naive and lived in a Christian household, a strict Christian household. Well, she's no longer that person because she's opened herself up to the world and obviously has made a career out of her music, but not only being an academic as well. She just can't go back to that, and she's saying goodbye to that old version of herself. And I think there's like a similar situation happening here with Hot or Michelle Buzz, having been in the music industry and being told that maybe she didn't have the potential to be a performing and recording artist herself, but just strictly being a songwriter. And it took her hitting a low point and meeting somebody like Lance Shipp or Freddie to really find love in music again and to find that inner child with herself, which I think is why she mentions within the first verse how she is going to go wild like a petulant child. And then within the chorus, she says, "Sweet surrender, when you give up the ghost that you once loved the most," like whatever version of herself is now dead, because this version of herself, her current version, is unrestrained, uninhibited. It's her true, what I imagine to be her true self. And just reading the chorus itself, "When you give up the ghost that you once loved the most, oh, it's sweet surrender, not a tear in my eye as we're kissing goodbye," referring back to her time as just being a songwriter for 8 years. I don't give a fuck about that anymore. Like, I am who I want to be and need to be at this point. Not a tear in my eye as we're kissing goodbye, and we could try forever, but this love would divide if you're dying inside. Oh, it's a sweet surrender. I think in grand scheme, it's getting at the idea of saying that sometimes you actually have to hit one of the lowest points in your life to really say, I don't give a fuck what happens afterwards. I need to remain true to myself and stick to your intuition. But I just love the lyricism that is put into this song. Like, there's just, man, it's just so fucking good. Like, I'm already in love with this album from the 3 songs that we've heard. That I think there's a guitar in this song that's kind of in the pocket of the synthesizer or bass synthesizer, if I'm not mistaken. I already forgot about certain elements of this song, but I just have to say that, like, all the instrumental portions were fucking great. Like the melody, the riffs, Hot's or Michelle Buzz's vocals are fucking supreme here, man. Like, I love that she has this very beautiful vibrato, and the way that she sustains notes is so good, man. Like, oh god, it's so fucking good. And I imagine Lance Shipp also made this track sound as good as possible, not only mixing but producing the track. I'm sure he played the instruments along with Michelle Buzz, if I am to assume that both work with do all the instrumental portions, like all the instruments that are incorporated in this, that they tackled it together. But this is just good shit, man. This is just amazing stuff, and we got to get to the next track. I know I keep yapping, but let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is let's see, Scantily Clad. So this is a song I've already heard, but we're going to go ahead and give it a listen so I can reprise my knowledge or my experience of listening to this song again. Go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, or refer back to the album links that we left in the description of the episode. If you want to listen to the album at the end, we have the end card playlist, or the playlist for the album itself, at the end of this episode. So anyways, we're going to give Scantily Clad a listen going in. All right, welcome back. That was Hot and Freddy with their song called Scantily Clad. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. You know what I love about this band is they obviously have a message that they want to share with each individual track, and also just in grand scheme of the album, but it's the way in which they do it. And I'm led to believe that the way that they're presenting this in a visual sense is through this Middle Ages attire, or this Middle Age setting, where I think at that time, if I remember correctly, like the Holy Roman Empire was fucking massive. Like it absorbed a lot of countries, and we're talking like Italy and Germany and stuff. And at one point, Germany breaks away from the Holy Roman Empire, because they had such a power grab of Europe at the time. And I think what Hot and Freddy are trying to get across is making that parallel between themselves and that time period where there were the Holy Roman Empire was the authoritative figure. And yes, there are references made in the song to kings, queens, and popes. But what I think Hot and Freddy are doing, or at least Hot specifically, or Michelle Buzz, is making a comparison of herself to, I guess, a disruptive figure to the old guard, right? Which would, in this case, would be the music industry, but in the context of the song, it would be, the kings and queens, the popes, and all that stuff. But she's choosing to be her true self, and it's being disruptive, and I think that's why she made the comparison of herself to Helen of Troy, because in that story, I believe the prince of, what was it, Troy? Or no, was it Sparta? Sparta. Helen of Troy was married to the Prince of Sparta, but then she eloped with the Prince of Troy, which then incited the Trojan War. So, she's stirring up controversy, and it's something that she talked about in the previous song, Sweet Surrender, where she felt like she had to sacrifice her own identity to fit in with the boys. Perhaps the producers and songwriters that she was working with, she sacrificed a lot of herself to just fit in. And now she's claiming her own power, her own identity in this song, and she's being disruptive. It seemingly gets at the idea that she possibly took out the queen, and the king is mourning. And there's a lyric in here where it says the Pope refrained from her. The Pope fled at once when I walked upstage and had no shame. The knights went to war when I kissed her in the pink beret. Oh, what a big disgrace. She said the thing. But anyways, I think the song implies that Michelle Buzz, or Hot herself, tried to do a coup, and maybe she was successful in killing the queen, but now she has all these people coming after her. And the very last part in the bridge, it says, on my tombstone, I just hope that it reads scantily clad woman, scantily clad man. I don't know exactly what that means in context to the song, if she's saying that the king and queen are only human after all, or that it's a reference to Hot and Freddy themselves, that they try to take out the old guard and the status quo in elevating themselves. I don't exactly know what the chorus means, but those were, like, I guess, my hunches about what they could possibly mean. As far as like the music itself, that bouncy bass is like super fucking catchy, and I think this song is just grand. But let's go ahead and get to the next track. The next song that we're going to be listening to is called Freaks. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. We have the links available for you in the video description, and also we'll have the playlist of the album at the end of this episode. So whatever way you want to listen, we have it available to you. Once again, we are listening to Freaks from Hot and Freddy, Going In. All right, welcome back. That was Hot and Freddy with their song called Freaks. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. The great thing about Hot and Freddy is they feel like the culmination of years of synth pop from like the early days of Madonna. Let's say even the Pet Shop Boys, New Order, or even Human League. It feels like they have culminated all those moments in synth pop history to make this project, because their music is so textured and layered, and it really shows different sides of synth pop music, and referring to the legends of the past. It just feels like it's emanating from here. Not to say that there is originality on the part of Hot and Freddy themselves, but to say like this is a celebration of synth pop music. And with a track like this, I mean, it's another spectacular track from Hot and Freddy themselves. And I do wonder, okay, so I just want to say real quickly that this song kind of feels, I don't know, man. I feel like there's some Human League shit going on here, but I do wonder how they're able to make all these different sounds, if they're using different synthesizers or it's just one and they change the settings and add filters and all kinds of add-ins and stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but how differing how different each song sounds is just a testament of what they're capable of. But I do wonder also if the subtext within the song is talking about people in the LGBTQ community, because it talks about letting this beast out or letting this evil side of you out, that you have a mask that you're trying. I think it could be interpreted in different ways, actually. Maybe it could be talking about people that have autism that feel like they have to put a mask on and function in a certain way, but the the revealing of the mask or taking off the mask would be them like stimming and stuff. But maybe more appropriately, because I think there are quite a few people that enjoy Hot and Freddy's music from the LGBT community, is talking about perhaps when being in that space, it was a negative perception that people had of gay people, lesbians, and everything else included in that, and they felt like they had to adapt to social norms. And this song is saying, it's like, I know who you are, and we need to let that freak and evil side of you come out, because there is that perception that homosexuality is a negative thing. But yeah, I mean, like, if we're going to look at some of the lyrics, after midnight when the sun goes down, there's a villain begging to come out. Spotless on the surface, I can always tell you're a freak. All the tight lace, ready to offend. All the shy girls show a little skin. Life is for the wicked, not so heaven sent. Okay, so, just kind of aligning with what I was already talking about. But then you also have the chorus where it says, all the pretty girls and all the pretty boys. Like, for someone like myself that's a, cis heterosexual man or whatever, I don't know if I want to be described as pretty. Like, I would rather be described as handsome. So I think the choice in words is actually referring to, queer folk, just anybody that in the LGBTQ space, trans men, trans women, all that stuff. And then it says, go and keep it locked inside the walls for the werewolves only to behold. But I want to be with you when you let it show. The freaky part of you that nobody knows. For the modest, proper, and polite, you could veer off only for tonight. Life is for the stark, mad, handsome, and divine. So I don't know. That's where I think the song is. That's what I think the song is getting at personally. I mean, if you want to take it in multiple directions, as I said before, it could be somebody that is possibly autistic or whatever, or if you want to take it in the more logical sense, I think it is describing people in the LGBTQ space. So that's my personal theory, but I love this track, man. I feel like we're not going to be disappointed with the next set of songs from Hot and Freddy. I forget how many there are, but I am amazed how consistently these songs, how good and how consistently these songs are, man. It's just a lot of fun to work our way through this album. It doesn't feel like a chore. I mean, this is just, this is great stuff. So I don't want to keep going, but let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called, let's see. We have Shy Girl. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen. We're going to listen to Shy Girl, Going In. All right, welcome back. That was Hot and Freddy with their track called Shy Girl. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Yet another enjoyable track from Hot and Freddy. They haven't missed to this point, and I felt like this song was a personal call to arms for Hot or Michelle Buzz, where she's talking to herself and how she perceives herself as someone introverted, and having opposing figures within her life, perhaps her closest allies, saying that, maybe you should just give up this music thing. It's kind of stupid, or whatever reason or excuse they have to tell her to maybe wrap it up and call it quits. And, there is a great deal of madness, as she notes within the song, is that, what was it in the chorus? She says, let's see. When you're going to run the whole wide world, I do recall there was madness in your eyes. And I think it does take a great deal of madness to step outside your comfort zone and defy all expectations. I mean, to put the amount of work and commitment to become an artist and also to try to capture an entire audience. I mean, it's almost like an impossible task, but here here are Lance Ship and also Michelle Buzz really daring to be themselves within their own music and for this debut album, which has just been a absolute, you know, an absolute wonder to listen to. Uh, I really like this track. I thought it's a close personal statement to Michelle Buzz herself, and it does feel. I mean, I already saw what the next track is. It's called "Dance the Pain Away," which is something I've already listened to, but it definitely feels like a prelude for what is to come afterwards, where Dance the Pain Away feels like the capitulation of the first half of this album. And I don't know what that means for the second half of this album, but that song feels like a definitive statement, like anthemic, anthemic, and also cathartic for the band themselves to really have this celebration of their own life, their own music, their own careers. Like this is really leading up to a very cool moment, and I can't wait to listen to Dance the Pain Away because it's been one of my favorite tracks since it came out. So let's go ahead and get to the next track from the album, which again is Dance the Pain Away, which is track number 7. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen going in. Welcome back. That was Haute Freddy with their song called Dance the Pain Away. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Definitively, I can say that this is the best song that I've heard on this album, and it's going to set the bar real high for music that'll follow afterwards. But this is just a masterpiece. I think it's a timeless classic that I think people will be revisiting for all time until the end of time. Like, I love it so much. It is one of the top tracks of 2026, and I don't know where it falls in my personal all-time favorite list of songs, but it's fucking up there, man. It's really fucking good. So I have this speculation because there's like this steel drum synthesizer in the background that's like syncopated, and within the first part of the song, in the verse itself, it says "Silent night in the city lights, cars in the rain, my heartbeat and the highway noise all sound the same." That part specifically about the rain, it does sound like droplets of water that's played in the background. The thing that I'm describing with the steel drum like synthesizer or whatever. I think that's cool. Like, that's just me speculating, but I think it's a very fucking cool thing to include in this track. And they have this uncanny ability to just write amazing verses and lyrics, or excuse me, verses and hooks. Like, man, the part where it says, I mean, just the chorus itself, I'll just read it verbatim. What's in your heart? What's in your way? Why don't we dance the pain away? For once in your life, don't run away. Why don't we dance the pain away? Like, that's just, it's so generic, but it's also kind of specific because you can read into it yourself what that song is about. I mean, for Michelle Buzz herself to be a declaration, it's like, no, I want to be an artist. I want to be somebody that is creative and can perform and do all these things. And, what's holding you back? Like, what's holding me back from doing what I want to do? It's like somebody that listens to this can read into it themselves and like fit themselves into the story of this album, or even specifically this track. And I love how it climaxes with the chorus. Like, oh man, it's just I don't know what other words I have to share, because it's just like I said, it's their ability to write really memorable songs, and this song is a crowning jewel within their discography, and it's just a shame because I don't know if it'll ever be topped. I mean, there's gonna have to be something just as amazing on their next album that'll, exceed our expectations, but this is just so fucking good, man. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called, let me see, It's called Femme Hysteria. So we've dealt a lot with the theme of madness, or it's been said numerous times. It's a recurring theme in the lyrics. So Femme Hysteria seems like a logical conclusion to include a song like this. So let's go ahead and get to it. Once again, pull the song up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's get to the next track. Going in. Shit, actually, I forgot to mention one thing, and it's that this track loosely reminds me of songs like West End Girls from Pet Shop Boys, and also the theme for Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. from Harold Faltermeyer. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name, but in either case, it's just like the tempo of the song, kind of the melody roughly, but yeah, I think obviously this is like a wholly original song, but it does remind me of those songs from those artists. But yeah, anyways, also real quickly, the previous song, Shy Girl, the tempo kind of reminded me of Dead or Alive with You Spin Me Round, but I probably should have just included this at the end of the episode with final thoughts and score, but I just had to include that real quickly. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the next song, which is called let's see, Femme Hysteria once again. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen going in. All right, welcome back. That was Haute Freddy with their track called Femme Hysteria. Man, I fucking love this track. Like, I don't know if it exceeds Dance the Pain Away, but it is definitely an S tier track, and it's just like a centigrade or two just below Dance the Pain Away. But what I loved about it is this general feeling of like an act of defiance, right? And within the verse itself, the first verse, it says, I took the keys to the castle tonight. I made a deal with the moon at midnight. And that, to me, kind of sounds both blasphemous and heretical to pledge allegiance to the moon instead of, like, God, right? And also for her to go against the establishment, like, that is heretical. And then we also have the pre-chorus, which I fucking love because it says, there's a pounding at the door. It's nothing like you heard before. The beat is mutiny. To not dance would be rude of me. Like, you know, that this is the pounding of the door is serenading Hot, and she would be rude not to oblige and dance in this anarchy that she's creating because apparently women aren't capable of doing the same things men are to, you know, run the world and stuff. But yeah, again, they're just really proficient at writing amazing hooks. Fucking A, man. This is just great stuff. And I love that we're always revisiting different fictional characters, like the woman that's in the Scarlet Letter, the book that was kind of taken place. It took place during the Puritan times, and I think the letter specifically was A for adultery or something like that, because I think the main character had an affair with like a married man. I can't remember exactly what the book was. I just remember it's something about adultery or some shit, and this woman was like castigated and ostracized for, you know, committing adultery or whatever, some shit. And then yeah, and then also the Helen of Troy reference within the previous song. So this is just very cool references that have been included in songs. And I love the chorus. I mean, oh my God, Femme Hysteria. It's like a scarlet letter on my heart. All the rage, all the terror. If you rock the world, rock me Amadeus. I'm just kidding. Anyways, it'll fall apart, Femme Hysteria. And the verse 2 where it says, is it love? Is it not? Is it me? Is it God? Is it right? Is it wrong? Does it dive like a swan? You know, saying it like, am I fucking wrong for existing and operating the way that I do? Am I being disruptive? Is it God's fault? I don't know, but you know, here we are. But yeah, I really enjoyed this track, and you know, I fucking can't say enough good things. The melody is fucking awesome. This sounds like more contemporary synth pop music as opposed to some of the other tracks that more so sound like stuff from the 80s. This feels far more contemporary, and yeah, I thought this was a home run for me personally. So anyways, also like towards the end when you had the bridge and you have Hot doing these vocal utterances, these riffs that she was doing, and they're very operatic, and oh man, she just has an unbelievable voice. Like, this album is so killer. Damn it, man. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get to the let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called Fashion Over Function. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and we'll give it a whirl. Once again, the track is called Fashion Over Function, going in. All right, welcome back. That was Fashion Over Function from Haute Freddy. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Fuck, man, they followed with yet another banger after the previous song, and I'm going to make a reference to one of the lyrics from the other song, which was that the beat is mutiny, and it seems like the music is the revolution for Haute Freddy, because within the first verse of the song, we have the lyrics, and I'll read it as is. The flashing lights in this old world are burning thin. I woke up and I wanted to start a riot. It's your fault. I need to be seen and be heard. The town crier testified. The second we walked on by, like, oh, like everybody's kind of in shock. But yeah, I get the idea that Haute Freddy have taken over this castle, have performed a coup, so to speak, and they are now going to perform because they've been kept in the box for so long that they're going to do this act of defiance that is going to surprise people, shock people, leave them in astonishment, because later on in the song it says, what does it say? The crowd went wild at what some said was sacrilege. The royal court, of course, had fallen silent. In a state of pure confusion and of awe, the town crier testified. Just one look, the crowd went wild. Oh, and it says, could they be from here or afar, or could they be from Venus or Mars? How bizarre. And, just like the strangeness or outlandishness of their music, also kind of it feels reminiscent from something like Sparks, the band that some of you may know for a song called Angst in My Pants, or even like the B-52s, like more new wave stuff. They had some really eerie songs, like Private Idaho, and I can't remember all their discography, but there was like a sci-fi element to their music that they did, like weird vocals and stuff that kind of remind me of Haute Freddy and such. But yeah, just another fucking great track that I thought was, it's just hard to be disappointed at this point. We're already more than like 3/4 of the way through the album. I just don't see how they're gonna let us down. And something I forgot to mention in the last song, which was, what was it called? I forgot. Let me see. Femme Hysteria, right? Where there was a part in the song where Hot talked about how, like, Adam was a bitch in the story of the Garden of Eden, where Eve tempted Adam with the apple, and she's making the justification that Adam's a bitch because he couldn't decide for himself whether he wanted to bite the apple or not, and he blamed his wife and such. But again, the continued choice to include, stories from different things, whether that's the Scarlet Letter, the Bible, or even Helen of Troy from Greek mythology and stuff. Like, fuck, man, they're so meta with this shit. It's beyond crazy, and I love it to death. So we are in the last quarter of the album. We have about 4 songs to go, and the next song that we're going to be listening to is called Sophie. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen. Once again, that track is called Sophie, going in. All right, welcome back. That was Haute Freddy with their track called Sophie. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Man, that was quite the contrast from what we've heard previously with the more of the synth pop tracks, and this one feels more like Fleetwood Mac-ish. And I feel as though the song itself is talking about maybe Michelle Buzz or Hot talking to other women and saying that they don't need somebody else in their life to realize their own happiness or their own fulfillment out of life. Because there's a part where she says, I'm not sure if it's in the chorus, where she's talking about having this story, or this character within the story being rescued by somebody that's a knight in shining armor, or perhaps a person that drives a nice car. And I like the part where she is saying that she sees Sophie all around in the subway. It's like all the women that you've encountered in your life that could have been so much more, that wanted to do so much more, but they like just kind of have been waiting for somebody else to like turn their life around, or to have a sense of happiness or fulfillment, to be in a relationship or this or that. In a form of like codependency, or somebody having dominion over you. I think Hot or Michelle Buzz is trying to say, and like, no, dude, you can find all those things by yourself and be content with that. But that's like my best estimate of what this song is trying to get at. But yeah, another enjoyable track from Hot and Freddy. So we are getting towards the end of the album, and we only have about 3 songs left. So we're going to be listening to Showgirl at Heart. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's go ahead and give it a listen. Once again, that track is Showgirl at Heart from Hot and Freddy, going in. Welcome back. That was Hot and Freddy with their track called Showgirl at Heart. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. The way this track started off, it made me think of back in the day when they would do infomercials for old 80s love ballad compilation albums before the song eventually gets over towards more of the synth pop elements. But yeah, I don't know why I just had to quickly mention that. But yeah, I like this track a lot, and I tried to like parse the meaning of this song, because I'm guessing Michelle Buzz feels kind of downtrodden about herself, and she knows she wants to be a star herself. And, she says within the song that, well, at least in the chorus, it says, "Oh, you're just a showgirl." Well, actually, it says, let me read the whole chorus. "All eyes are on you, and how they've missed seeing your face. Oh, you're just a showgirl at heart, undercover, dancing like the world is your stage, prima donna. They're cheering for you, only for you. The spotlight is yours, alone to take. Or you're just a showgirl at heart, undercover, dancing like the world is your stage," and so on and so on. But, I think she just feels as though she has this calling to make music and perform and do all this stuff. And perhaps this is a period when she's feeling more downtrodden. But yeah, another enjoyable track from this album. Like I said, it's just been an impossible, it's an impossible task to make an album that people want to listen to in its entirety. And Hot and Freddy have been able to accomplish that, to just write songs that are hit after hit, man. It's just, it's unbelievable. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the next 2 tracks. And the next one is going to be called Fields of Versailles. Oh, interesting. I can't wait to see what this one is about, because I think Versailles is in France, where I think King Louis, all the other kings that were in France back in the day that eventually got beheaded and stuff. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen, because we have had bouts of Michelle Buzz talking about doing riots and acts of defiance. So I'm kind of curious where this is going to go. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Once again, we are listening to Fields of Versailles, going in. All right, welcome back. That was Hot and Freddy with their track called Fields of Versailles. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Man, just like I fucking predicted, it was yet another song about revolution or rioting. Man, this album is very apt for the times that we are living in. It is a zeitgeist, not only for artists that feel disenfranchised, trying to get their leg up and making money, but it's like us versus the 1%. And the way that like Hot and Freddy is portraying this idea with all these comparisons or parallels to old historical moments along with fictional characters, it's so layered and deep that perhaps it might be missed by the casual eye and ear. But yeah, I just think this shit is just fucking dope, man. They're really cerebral about everything that they do, and God, I would love to go see them perform live. But the parts I like about the lyrics is where she says, well, within the chorus it says, virtues kiss goodbye. Virtues aren't for us tonight. Virtues hold me tight. Virtues, we can leave them all behind. Virtues aren't for us tonight, implying that they are going to do something to these establishment figures, both King Louis XVI and also Marie Antoinette. And also there are references to both of them with the verses where it says, another hero's gone, another fire brigade. I would have been king to you and let them all eat cake. We could have ruled the land, but that would never do. So let's run to the fields of Versailles, implying that even if they had were capable of taking over and being kings and queens themselves, talking about a romantic partner potentially that was a hero or a martyr. But that wouldn't make sense because that would just be another king and queen that would probably result in tyranny. And I do like the idea of her talking about age being a privilege, that people that are in positions of power are able to age while there's young people dying that are these heroic figures, and they're dying because of the faults of authoritative figures. But man, this album is dense and awesome, and fuck, man, I'm just having the grandest time listening to this shit. Genuinely, it is off the charts awesome. So we now pivot towards going to the last song, which is called "I Like My People Weird." Ah, man, yes. Fuck yeah. All right. This is going to be an anthem for all the weirdos out there in whatever capacity that may be. I have a feeling this is going to be a great song. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. I Like My People Weird from Haute Freddy. Let us know Haute Freddy with their song called I Like My People Weird. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen going in. All right, welcome back. That was Haute Freddy with their track called I Love My People Weird. Let us know in the comments what I thought about it. All right, I only have a few thoughts to share, but the thing that came to mind for me is I feel like I just watched the end of The Breakfast Club, when you have these characters, these 5 characters that are stereotypes of, like a jock, an outcast, a delinquent, a genius, the pretty girl and stuff. We've gotten to the end of the movie where they shed their stereotypes and we have deconstructed the person underneath that stereotype. And now they're all friends and shit. And we've come to the end of the movie, and this is the thing to wrap it up, to say that, they actually enjoy each other's company and that perhaps they shouldn't have been so harsh to one another. And, they're all weird and strange in their own ways, but, we're all human beings at the end of the day. But man, I don't really want to get into this song because I already have an idea of what this album is score wise, and I don't even really want to do scores anymore. But I let's just get to the final thoughts and score. For final thoughts and score, what I can say about the album is that this is the magnum opus of both Haute and Freddy, Michelle Buzz, and Lance Shipp. What they were able to accomplish with all 13 tracks to tell such a complete story that not only captures the hearts and minds of their fans, it really is a testament to the level of endurance and perseverance to get to this point for either of them to feel as though they weren't going to make it in the music industry. This is just top-notch stuff, and I really think it captures the moment that we are experiencing with the top versus the bottom, basically, to include historical moments in France back with the references to Marie Antoinette, and also referencing, literature or fictional characters in the Scarlet Letter or even Greek mythology with Helen of Troy. I mean, I can't say enough good things. They're so cerebral about their lyrics. They write great hooks. The instrumentation is unbelievable. It gets operatic. It's grandiose. It's bombastic. It's outlandish. It's everything that I think either of them wanted to be in music but weren't allowed to become. And here we have it come to fruition here. So what I can say about this album score wise, like genuinely, I think this is an 11 out of 10. And that's all I have to say about that. There's nothing to follow afterwards. This is an absurd score for an absurdly good fucking album, an absurdly great album. It is an 11 out of 10 for me. This is probably one of the best albums I've heard this year, and it even supersedes that of Hemlock Springs. So that's all I have to say about this album. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next time.